Well, hello everyone, this is Jeff Clark with another unboxing video. It's been some time since I've been able to do a video because I haven't really taken any exciting trips lately that have also included planes that were able to be purchased, but I have this one on pre-order for some time and from Collectible Jets, and it showed up a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to unbox it today. And this is from Collectible Jets, and their website is collectiblejets.com. And there she is. This is a Gemini Jets. The model number is G2BOA654. It's a Boeing 747-100 in the BOAC livery. And I've been looking forward to getting this particular aircraft because I've flown on this particular aircraft before. So it was nice to be able to get a model of that. And this is going to be a nice one to have in the collection. Let's just take a couple looks at the different angles of the box here. On the end here with the opening, we have the aircraft as well as the Boeing 747-100 and the item number. Here's the side of the box, and here's the other end. Pretty standard Gemini box. Nothing too exciting about their boxes, and for the most part. And this is a first release of this aircraft model, so it's nice to actually have that. And there she is. So we have the Gemini stand, just a wooden stand. Looks like got just a little bit of glue residue there, but no big deal. There's this blue protective material on the stand to keep it safe while it's in the box. I'm just going to take that off. Here we have the gear, which is packaged separately for the most part these days. And we'll put those on. These are just attached with some little magnets. Although this time I don't actually see the little tool. They usually put a tool in there to get them. Oh, here they are. Here's the tool right here. And these are the covers that you would put on for the in-flight pose if you chose to do that. Not really sure how I'm going to display this one yet, so we'll see which way I go. Most likely with the gear on, just maybe with the stand on or off, I'm not sure yet. So everything looks to be in good condition here so far. Just got to be careful because this aircraft, the 747-100, has the HF antennas on the wings, which can be a little fragile. Take the protective plastic off. Let's have a look at the model here. This is my second BOAC 747-100. The other one I have is by In-Flight, and this will give me a nice little opportunity to do some comparisons. Now this particular aircraft was on its first flight on February the 13th of 1971 and was delivered to BOAC on March the 14th, 1971 in this livery. This is the golden Speedbird livery for BOAC. Speedbird on the tail. And there was a couple of different renditions of the lettering on the side. And this was originally in the 3-window configuration, but it was later converted to the 10-window configuration, and was also painted in the British Airways livery who took it over. Beautiful looking aircraft. But I like the polish especially. Kind of harkens back to the American Airlines days and the BOAC days, and many of the other carriers who also had a polished component to their aircraft. So we have the flag carrier of the UK. So we have the Union Jack flag there. We have the pitot tubes and the cockpit windows and their wipers. The crew escape hatch window, or door I should say. We have the jewel beacon. Nice detail on the door, especially the little BOAC there above the door, which is nice to have that in there. Here are the rescue points, these little doors marked in red, which British Airways have continued on their aircraft as well, so that rescuers from the outside know where to access the aircraft for the easiest method of entry. We have the G-AWNF is the registration for this aircraft, and the BOAC there above the door too. On the empennage we got the auxiliary power unit exhaust hole, and there's also a strobe light below that. This little dot right here. The empennage here looks really nice. I like the angle, and that's actually got a little groove there so that it really looks realistic. This actually allows the tailplane to pivot. That way, as the center of gravity of the aircraft changes during fuel burn, the angle of attack can be adjusted using the horizontal stabilizer. The rudder and its trim tab are also have a nice little groove there for a good 3D effect. I believe this is a DME antenna down here, or it could be the emergency transponder. These are the pressure release valves. These are intakes for the air conditioning system, as well as the anti-collision beacon. We have the doors for the landing gear, the body gear, and also the wing gear of the main landing gear set. It's another DME antenna here. And these are the NACA ducts, which are essentially a methodology of removing air for internal use, such as the air conditioning system and cooling and such, and designed to create low drag with this slotted design. Again, I really like that shine there. It looks great. On top of the aircraft, nice and clean. VHF antenna here, VHF antenna, and the anti-collision beacon. Here is the first class escape door. On the wings we have very nicely done with the paint work. It's nice and silvered, looks really good. and faithful execution of the Fowler flap, the double slotted flap, as well as the spoilers and the flaperon, and the other spoilers and the double slotted ailerons, or excuse me, outboard flaps, and then the aileron and the fuel dump valve. You can just see that. And nicely done with this VHF antenna. This one looks a little skew-if, but it's, I think, plastic, so it does kind of move around a little bit. Just try to be as careful as that with that as I can. These are the Pratt & Whitney JT9Ds. This variant is the 3A, which produces 43,000 pounds, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Excuse me, 43,500 pounds of torque, thrust. And Gemini did a really nice job here with the jewel lights there. I don't know if you can see those twinkling or not, but these seem to be the new trend in terms of aircraft illumination, so it's nice to see those put on there. And then the registration G-AWNF. This aircraft did have one incident in its past in 1994, where a cargo elevator piece of equipment that loads the units and freight into the bottom of the aircraft via this door actually came in contact with the cowling on the number 4 engine and did some minor damage. That flight was terminated at that point. It wasn't on the ground, they were loading passengers at that time, so I had to get some repairs done to put it back in operation. Let's look at the starboard side of the aircraft. We've got the LD3 loading door here, as well as the operation mechanism. Here's your pitot tubes. I think this one static port here, you can just see that. And then this uses a Krieger slat, which actually deploys from the lower surface of the wing. It's not, the actual leading edge doesn't advance. This actually folds out from below to increase the size of the wing area. And that's actually painted white, so it's really got a good contrast there. The inboard slat is not painted white, but the outboard ones are. That's really neat. And then we have the red navigation light. There'll also be a white light on the posterior, the aft surface of the wing, which is also a navigation light, just to tell you that the plane is heading away from you. So if you see white, then you know the aircraft is away from you. If you see the colors of the red or the green, it's on the other side, which looks kind of red, but there is green there. That way you know the aircraft is approaching you. Then we have the other LD3 door in the aft part of the aircraft, and then the bulk bin door, which is for your bulky items, your golf clubs and your push chairs and such. And then again the registration G-AWNF. Now this aircraft was later repainted into the British Airways livery after it was taken delivery to them once the merger of BOAC and British European Airways. BOAC stands for British Overseas Airways Corporation, and that was founded on the 27th of November in 1939 with the merger of Imperial Airways and British Airways. And when it was repainted, it would be painted in the first Negus livery with the quarter flag on the tail, the quarter Union flag on the tail, and then also British Airways instead of the BOAC. And it wouldn't get fully integrated in that paint job until sometime later, in around 76. It took a number of years for all the planes to go through, so eventually it would be painted with the bottom would be painted blue as well. And that would have been called the City of Westminster after it was repainted. But this is a really impressive looking model. You can tell just the look of the 100 just has a really nice stylized look, especially with the UHF antennas there. That really gives it a nice sort of in-flight appearance that the 747-100s have. Again, that's a really nice touch. The length on this aircraft, 231 feet 10 inches on the 747-100, as is most of the variants until you get into the 400 ER. 63 feet high at the tail, and with a wingspan of 195 feet 8 inches. After its time with British Airways, this aircraft ended up with a company called Cabo Air down in Africa, and they have had it since 2001, January 1st, 2001. And technically this aircraft is, or supposedly this aircraft is still stored and out there doing something, or in a hangar somewhere, who knows. But BOAC were definitely the first group to have it. Maximum takeoff weight of the 747-100 is 735,000 pounds, which is 362 tons or so. That's a lot of weight. We carry about 366 passengers depending on the configuration, but the specs aren't out there for what this particular aircraft was in. These JT9Ds look really nice, so I'm glad the way they're executed so well. Looks really good. Underside, you can see the ailerons and the flaps and the flaperon as well, clearly done on both sides. Overall, this model looks to be in absolutely perfect condition. Maybe just a little tiny scuff there, but it is very, very tiny. Alright, I'm going to get this stand on here, and then we're going to take a look and see how this Speedbird looks. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this gear on here. These do tilt, and they do roll, so you can get that nice 747 position on those wheels, which look real tucked up. The wheel condition looks to be really nice. There's good detail there. Let's have a look for straightness. Looks pretty good. And the nose gear has the jewels in there as well. Not sure if you can see those. And it does roll and it does turn. 747 is one of the few aircraft that has the shock absorber for the nose gear pointing forward. Most other aircraft have it facing aft. and I flew this aircraft on the 24th of July 1974, and at that point it had been repainted in the Negus livery, but they don't have this aircraft in the Negus livery. The stand fits in there pretty tight, a little bit of play. Nice and straight. And compared to the 747-8 that I have, that Gemini also makes, the stand isn't pressing on the body gear like it does in that particular aircraft, so I'm glad that that is the case. It's either because the length of this aircraft is about 20 foot shorter than the Dash 8, and thus had less weight is pushing down on the back part of the stand, or just that maybe the design is just a little bit different. It's a nice looking aircraft. And you can really see the detail on the upper deck escape door. I mean, just really accurate in terms of the handle to open it and the warnings that are written on it. Really nice. This aircraft doesn't have a painted on escape run walkway, but does have the emergency access points on the starboard side too. Just some minor detail of the APU housing access doors, but overall a really nice 3D look, including the detail of the fuel dump valve on both wings. So really nice looking. I would absolutely recommend you get this model if you can, or if it makes a difference to you. The shiny appearance really lends itself to a nice model for your display case, and kind of sets these older aircraft apart. I really like the retro look of the liveries, and it's nice to see that the manufacturers are getting into a bit more of the 747-100s, the older classic aircraft such as this, and also the Pan Am and the American Airlines. I do have the Pan Am 747 on its way, so keep an eye out for that video coming up soon, and maybe one day the American Airlines too. We'll see. Do a little comparison to my In-Flight 200, and this antenna here on the In-Flight 200 is a bit better. It's not 3D on the Gemini, but it is 3D on the In-Flight 200, so that's one advantage I would give to the In-Flight 200. And I think they did a little bit better job on the wheels on the In-Flight 200. The wheels just look a little shinier, and the door looks a bit more realistic on the In-Flight 200 versus the Gemini. But the advantage that the Gemini has over In-Flight is that the In-Flight, they don't tilt, so you can, I have mine currently displayed in the on the ground configuration like this, because of not only that, with the issue with the tilting of the wheels, but also the stand for the In-Flight 200 has the aircraft almost at a straight angle. It doesn't have any tilt to it, so that's one advantage of the Gemini over the In-Flight 200, which I believe is also the Aviation Retail Direct. overall both models have their adds and disadvantages. And the wheels do spin, or the fan blades do spin. I know 777-DIR will be glad to see that working correctly. And they have the nice spiral painted on the nose of the fan too. So overall, really am happy with this model. I think they've done a really nice job of the execution here. Love the polish. Love the 3D look of everything. Really nice work. Overall, I'm real happy with this and looking forward to having it in my collection. So thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more unboxing videos.